What's going on, guys? It is Shay here. Welcome back to another prop review. Now, before I actually start this prop review, I want to show you guys something. So, your boy finally got himself a new knife. I'm so freaking happy I finally got me a new knife. It wasn't the one I was looking for, but hey, this is way better than the one I've had, for like months on end. So I'm really happy I got a new knife. I freaking love this thing, dude. Sharp as hell too. It's not serrated, sadly. I love serrated blades more than just the straighter blades, but anyways, that's not what we're going to be doing today, or not going to be reviewing. Today we're going to be reviewing another revolver. Now, I did say in the previous prop review that I was going to be making possibly the worst fire or the ugliest handgun that actually exists. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, is a high point pistol. It's considered a lot by gun fans, a lot of them to be specific, the ugliest firearm and probably the worst handgun to ever exist. But what I have is far from ugly and far from being terrible. So today, everybody, I have for you guys the Colt Official Police. This is my prop build of the gun, and I'm going to show the world what it looks like. Well, my version looks like. Now, you may notice that this thing is bigger than the actual Colt Official Police. I will give my reasoning behind that. And I did it again in terms of the reasoning behind this. So with that being said, let's begin. So the Colt Official Police is a medium frame revolver chambered in .38 Special. This is apparently a revolver used by a lot of police, or it was a standard issue revolver for police officers, I guess, back in the from early 1930s, sometime when it's from the late or early it's from the 1930s all the way up to the time it was finished. Like, they stopped making this gun, it stopped in production, which is in like either the 1980s or the 1990s, I'm not sure. But funny enough, this gun has the exact same production date or production start year as the Colt Detective Special. They both were, well, I guess you could say they both started in production in 1927. But this gun is just an antique weapon now in the hands of gun collectors and the like. But yeah, so now that I've explained all the background of it, I guess, let's go ahead and take a look at the details. Let's take a look at the barrel, the least interesting thing. So as you see here, no weathering this time. On my last revolver, or technically my last prop, there was weathering on the gun. But this time, I decided to not do any weathering. Instead, I just tried my best to use the rest of that pavement paint that I had to try to achieve the color that I wanted. You have your ejector rod here, which is an exposed ejector rod instead of being, kind of hidden inside a piece. And then we lead it right here to the cylinder, and I try my best to make the gun look like that it actually has like a little piece. This is more like the Beats logo than anything. But moving on to the front, like the main frame of the revolver, you have the cylinder. Now, I did have the flutes in the cylinder, because the last time I couldn't because of how dark the paint was, and it would literally just blend in and stuff like that. You have your cylinder release right here, which you can swivel out, or you can pretend you're swiveling out the cylinder, emptying the shells. And you also have this flutes on the other side of the cylinder. Trigger guard, obviously no trigger. I try my best to get the gun to, or the trigger guard to, the closest I could to make the trigger guard look like the actual Colt Official Police. And moving on to the back of the gun, you got the grip. And I'm so freaking glad. Like, when I first made the first outline to this gun and I saw how I did the grip, I was so happy, because I'm just like I actually did it. And it doesn't feel uncomfortable or anything in my hand. Like, because the first time I did this, it felt hella uncomfortable. And that was with the Colt Detective Special. Now, for anybody who have seen that prop, what it used to look like originally, I'm not going to lie with you, it felt really uncomfortable to hold. Like, I barely had any room for my freaking fingers. But now, I'm able to move my freaking fingers around this thing freely. I can't do this, but I mean, I could just move my fingers around this thing just freely. It feels so much more better. You also have the little cutouts here, I guess, in a way to signify that you could replace these grips, because these are factory grips. And the last thing that we have here, also the the little incision things are also at the bottom. The last feature that we have here is the hammer. Now, this hammer is oddly big. I was gonna eventually try to cut this down so the way it makes it a little bit more easier, but I decided to just stick with it. And yeah, I guess it really does it for this thing. And it's a pretty, well, for my version, it's pretty big, and it's a reason, there's a reason why I made it this big. And let's move on to that right now. So, just like my last, let's say before the Model 30, the Smith & Wesson Model 30, the last revolver that I did was a Webley rig. And the reason why I made that revolver was because of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures with Jonathan Joestar and Speedwagon using the revolvers to try to intimidate Dio. Now, there's a reason why. It's also JoJo related to the reason why I made this revolver. So, in Part 5, or Golden Wind, in JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, let's say a thug uses this revolver to try to kill Mista. And I've said thug because YouTube's not going to allow the other word I'm saying. So, dude pulled dude out the car, freaking kneed him in the stomach. And he was like, "You gonna do that? Okay, fine." He pulls a Colt Official Police out of his I guess out of the back of his pants, aims it at Mista and fires twice at first. And then he fired his last 4 shots at him. And I guess God was on Mista's side at the time, because every single bullet from any of the other guys missed. And Mista himself ran up to the guy who had the Colt Official Police. He freaking punched him, and then he freaking takes this revolver from the dude and takes the rounds that are inside his shirt pocket. He loads them calmly while everybody else just freaking shoots at him, closes the cylinder, aims it at them, and fires 4 shots at every single one of them, shooting and killing them in one fell swoop. Also, this is the first gun that Mista ever fired, and the first gun that Mista used to kill somebody with. And I really could imagine him with this revolver, but with the Model 30, that he has in the show, that's perfectly fine with him. Because I take it that after, he got arrested, he never found these guns ever again, sadly. So, also, I forgot to mention, this is also used by a number of other characters in JoJo, not just by the Thug and Mista, but back in Part 2, in the very first episode of Battle Tennessee, or Part 2, racist New York police officers who were going to beat the shit out of Smokey. One of them had, I think both of them did have this, but one of them specifically had a Colt Official Police, and he pulled the gun saying that you're resisting arrest and was about to shoot Joseph. Going back to Golden Wind, a guy named Pericolo, he killed himself with this revolver. He was playing a message, and Bakio was doing it with the stand. He was replaying, I guess you could say recreating or reenacting the death of Pericolo. He pulled a Colt Official Police from his shirt pocket or jacket, and he points at his head and just shoots himself with it. And that's really about it for this revolver, and many reasons, or I guess many reasons, but the reasons why I wanted to make this. However, though, even though JoJo was the reason why I made this revolver, it is actually a really sexy looking revolver. But every time I see this, it's just bigger and huge compared to some of my other revolvers. But yeah, that is the Colt Official Police. It is also a 6-round revolver, except, just like my past revolvers, or past 2 revolvers, this is also a 6-round revolver, chambered in .38 special. However, though, there's actually a number of Official Police variants that are chambered in different things. I think one of them is 22. One of them is chambered in 22 long rifle. One is chambered in what is it? I think one is chambered in 32 Smith & Wesson. I think one is also chambered in 38 long Colt. But and then the obvious, and the one that was used the most was the one chambered in 38 special. So yeah, that really does it for this revolver. Let's go ahead and move on to the shooting test. Why not? Okay, so let's do this. Colt Official Police. Here we go. Really cool freaking revolver. Anyways, I need to stop swooning over his design and this thing. So let's go ahead and do it. So Colt Official Police, 38 special, firing. Can the gun? Okay, because I remember in the last video, my gun was not in frame, so I need to check and see if it is, but it is. Anyways. All right. So we're just gonna. Okay, so that's all the shooting we're gonna do. Sooner than I'm really gonna be able to do, like, you know, a video titled like, you know, my revolver collection, or, you know, my revolver collection of props, or some stuff like that. You know, I'm gonna be able to show off my revolvers, or the many revolvers that I've made. Yeah, I guess that really does it for this video. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.